Thriving in YLP. Gary Penn, Planning, Executing, and Thriving in YLP.
The beginning of Indiana Jones, the original, suspended from a rope, Indy's descending into a pit of vipers. This man hates snakes, and they're hissing and they're moving around, and in 1981, that came out alive on screen, and eventually, as he's inching his way down the rope, he falls to the ground. And a viper looks him in the eye, and he slowly backs away. What in the hell does this have to do with youth leadership programs? This is the vision I had of teaching 5th and 8th graders public speaking. This was as good as it got. And that is exactly why I needed to do it. Because it was so far outside my comfort zone to teach 5th and 8th graders to do anything, especially public speaking, that I knew I had to do it. It was the only way that I was going to challenge myself in a real way inside my head in Toastmasters. You see, the last time I had interaction with a 5th grader was 1985. That's 34 years ago, because I was in 5th grade. I don't have children. I don't want to deal with 5th and 8th graders. At least, I didn't think I did. So, fast forward a little bit. We jumped into YLP. What is YLP? It is a youth leadership program. It's something that Toastmasters encourages aspiring leaders and communicators to get involved in. And for the norm of Toastmasters, it means taking some of the Toastmasters curriculum to a school or to a youth group and teaching some of the basics of public speaking so that they too can become competent communicators. The challenge that myself, Robert, and Terry had is that we weren't allowed to use the out-of-the-box curriculum. We had to literally make up our own. And this was the rules from where we are right now, Encinitas Country Day School, where we taught the program for the last 3 months. So we had to be really creative. We had to come up with games, ways to entertain, agendas that were blank pieces of paper when we started. And for an hour and 15 minutes once a week, we had to keep children on the hook for public speaking and guarantee to the school that at the end of the 3 months, they would be better than when they started. 2 weeks into the program, I realized that they weren't going to bite me. But more than that, I realized that I actually liked it. I think I loved it. I really enjoyed connecting with these kids, and I realized that while they were having fun, because we were trying really hard to get them to have fun, I think I might have been having more fun than they were. I loved it. 4 weeks into the program, it was speech structure day. We taught them the basics of how to do an introduction and a conclusion. So for an introduction, we taught them the 3 key tricks of Toastmasters that many of you might not even know being Toastmasters. You can ask a question of your audience to start out. You can tell a story to get your audience to relate. Or you can aspire to relate to your audience by saying something that they would have in their everyday lives. Hi, fellow Toastmasters, remember the last time when we were speaking? That type of relation. And to watch the kids embrace these techniques was like magic. They literally opened up. It was unbelievable to see one of the kids come up who really couldn't put a 45-second response together, and start out and stand in one place and say, how many of you have ever been to Bali? This was the same kid that a week before would have come up and say, what, 2 weeks ago when I went to Bali with my parents, I mean, it was amazing to see the transformation. We just gave them a tool and they ate it up. It was so, so rewarding. So 8 weeks in. 8 weeks in it was magic because I knew everybody's name and I came to expect certain activities. Macy was a 4th grader. She's this cute little blonde girl. She wears glasses and she wore a hat with a little beanie on top of it every single week. And she loved to slide under her desk. But she was getting better at speaking. Savion was another 4th grader. He looked like an 8th grader. And he was super boisterous and he was a great speaker for about 30 seconds, and that's when you saw his flaws. So getting him to stay up longer and finish his statement, well, that was a challenge. Dylan, she always sat in the same seat, and she looked pretty hard on the outside. But when she came up, 9 times out of 10, she'd talk about her 2-year-old brother, and she would melt the room. And it was awesome to see her open up. This is what I remember from YLP. It's every single one of these kids. It's how they interacted, and it's watching them open up, use tools, and at the end of 12 weeks, handing them certificates to be competent communicators. This is the most rewarding thing that I have done in my 12 years in Toastmasters. I've been in a lot of competitions. I've done a lot of stuff for my own ego. Feels really good. Feeding your ego is great, especially when you win. But this was something that I did because I knew I had to do something that wasn't for me, and it was so, so, so rewarding. Once Indiana Jones gets past the snakes, he goes to the back, he pulls out the ark, and he is at least temporarily triumphant. That's myself, Robert, and Terry right now. And I thank them for being my partners in crime in this activity, and I encourage everybody, someday, get involved in YLP.